What's up guys? So for today's video I have something really exciting. It is another clothing hacks video where I show you guys how to recycle old clothing and turn it into clothing that looks like it's clothing from a store. I said clothing a lot in that sentence. But you guys seem to really like my brand new novel clothing hacks video, and a lot of you requested me to do Urban Outfitters next. So that is what I am doing today. And if you guys do like this video, it would be super awesome if you could give me one of your thumbs and leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite store is. I want to know. My favorite store is probably Forever 21 or Zara. I really like Zara. But without any further ado, let's hop into it. Okay guys, so we are going to start off by making this lovely Beyonce crew neck sweater from Urban Outfitters. I'm going to be showing you guys how you can do a DIY version by recycling an old black hoodie. And this one right here I got from Forever 21. And it actually has like these little cross things in front of it like this. But what we're going to be doing is actually flipping it around to have a nice blank canvas on here. And then the next thing that you'll need, which is kind of key, is some dark transfer paper. And basically what this does is you can print anything on here. The nice thing about the dark transfer paper compared to the light is it actually goes on the shirt as you're viewing it on the page, whereas in light transfer paper you have to mirror the image, which can get a little bit confusing, especially with text. So this is nice and simple. I picked this up at like Walmart. You can get it at Target or any like office supply store, and it was fairly inexpensive as well. Also, you do need an iron to actually transfer the transfer paper onto the shirt, so keep that in mind. Alright, so the first thing that I did is I went to the Urban Outfitters website and I actually screenshotted the text on the sweater, and what I was basically looking for was the exact font that was used. And so I used a website called fontspring.com. There's other ones like What the Font and yada yada, but I think FontSpring personally does the best job. And so I'll actually link it down below the exact font that I used. And I didn't actually buy the font. What I did is I did preview it, which I'm not suggesting that you do, but basically it will show up like this, and then I opened an 8.5 by 11 sheet on Photoshop. You can also do this in PicMonkey, and then I turned the text sideways like this, and then also colored in the text the exact same color that it was from the Urban Outfitters website. I just did a color match thing, and then I used the paint tool to paint in all the letters. Obviously not by hand, I used like the paint filler thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then super simple, all I did was print it off onto the transfer paper, and this is how it turned out. And then I also added a little bit more black behind the text, just because when I transfer it to the shirt, it is a lot easier to do it that way. I have done it before where I've cut out every single letter, and it's just hard because like you can't really place it in an exactly straight line, and you're not sure if like the letters are spaced out properly. So having something with the same color as the shirt you have is a lot easier, and you can't even really see it on the black. I've tried it on a white shirt. I don't think I've tried it on a black shirt yet, so we will see. But this is what it looks like. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take my handy dandy scissors, and as I am cutting this out, I've actually started to heat up my iron. So that way, when we're done this, we can iron it on. Guys, this is taking like a total of 10 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. The longest part that actually took me was to figure out how to like put this on this sheet and color the colors it's supposed to be. But what I'll do is I will actually leave a Google Doc link down below, so you guys can actually have the exact template. It's just going to be a lot easier for you guys that way. Also, if you guys haven't seen my brand new novel clothing hacks, I will leave that link down below. A whole bunch of you guys actually requested that I do Urban Outfitters, so I wanted to give a little shout out to you guys. I'm going to put your names on the side of the screen. But yeah, guys, basically, I'm going to Costa Rica on the 20th of March, and then somewhere else in Southeast Asia. Christian's keeping it like a semi-secret at the moment. Christian being my boyfriend. If you guys didn't know, I have a boyfriend who is a travel vlogger, which is pretty neat. And so we go traveling a lot and do that, and obviously I do YouTube as well, so I can work on the road. But I was planning out a whole bunch of fun videos for you guys that we're going to film, which is really, really exciting. And so you guys can expect tons and tons of really cinematic lookbooks. I'm planning a really fun Coachella lookbook right now. I'm leaving a little room, obviously, for the little accent there. I'm trying to cut off as much black as possible because ideally you don't want too much, like just probably as little as you need. I also really want to know what videos you guys want to see. I am planning on filming like the bikini collection, because I do get requested that a lot. So I think this is as good as it's gonna get. It looks pretty good to me. So what you want to do before you actually stick it on is you want to make sure to take off this back layer. And this is one reason I'm really happy that I don't have my fake nails anymore, because I tried to do this with fake nails and I'm not even kidding you guys. It took me a solid 10 minutes to try and just get this thing off. There we go, we did it. Okay, so this is a flimsy little thing. But basically what we're going to be doing is this and placing it flat down onto the sweater. Okay guys, so we are now taking the sweater, and so this is actually the front of it. What we're going to be doing is flipping it around and making a really flat surface. And as you can see here, it sits kind of across the boob area, so we'll want to make sure it's right in the center. Once you are certain that you have the text nice and straight, you want to place the sheet over like this, and this actually came with the package. It basically just protects the font here, or not the font, the letters, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then the next step is to make sure your iron is all heated up, and once it is, what you want to do is hold it on the font for about 20 seconds in each letter area, and then you'll want to make sure you're following the instructions because each transfer paper might be a little bit different, so just make sure you're reading those. But what mine said is to go over it for about 20 seconds, pushing quite firmly. Alright guys, time for the big reveal. This is how it turned out. It looks so similar to the one from the store. One word of caution though is I did kind of burn one of the letters, so just be really careful if you're using anything that's like a really light color, because yeah, that was obviously not meant to happen. You can't really see it on camera too much, but it's like a little bit, looks like it's like there's dirt on it or something. So anyways, I'm really excited with it. Guys, this looks so good, and it looks exactly like the sweater on the website, but it's a really cheap clothing hack for those of you who can't afford stuff from Urban Outfitters or don't want to spend that kind of money on clothing. I totally get it, and this is a really cool way to recycle some old clothing. Alright, so for the next DIY, we are going to be making this not tied t-shirt dress. For this DIY, all you need is an old recycled t-shirt dress, and this one just kind of looks like a nightshirt in my opinion. To be honest, I don't really wear it anymore, so I'm showing you how you can recycle something old into something fabulous, which is the whole point of these videos. So basically what you want to do is you want to stand in front of a mirror and you want to hold the dress up to your body, and then just take a pencil and you'll mark exactly where your sides are, because that's where you're going to be cutting the holes. I'll explain the rest later, but just make 2 marks right here where your waist would be. And the best thing to use is either a pencil or some chalk or anything that you can erase if you mess up, but we will be cutting out the part that we mark, so it doesn't really matter too much. Now that we have marked where exactly our waist will be, create a really long half oval, and this is just going to be for your own guide. So like I said, you can do this with chalk or a pencil. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just so when you're cutting, you know exactly where to cut, and it's just going to be a lot clearer of lines. And then in the middle, you want to leave about 2 to 3 inches, because that is the piece that we're going to be cinching with one of the pieces of fabric. Alright, so then once you're confident that that looks good, you want to then take your scissors and basically start cutting. But the key with this is you want to make sure to only cut through the top layer. Once you have a little hole, you can just start cutting really carefully and making sure it's as straight as possible. So then once you have that cut out, you just want to take it and then cut off the side there. And then you don't want to throw this piece away because you will be using it to tie the center after. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take the middle piece and cinch it together, and then take your piece of fabric and lay it on top, and then just tie it around once and then a second time. And then what you want to do is take it and tie it in the back of the shirt. You do want to try and double knot it just to make sure it's secure. And if you want to secure it even more, what you can actually do is take a needle and thread, and then take the needle and go to the part where you secured, and then just run a few loops. Honestly, I don't know sewing terminology, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Just do a little few pokes through here, and you are all done. Alright guys, so this is how the dress turned out. I'm really happy with it, and it was really easy to make. It took like 10 minutes and obviously cost me no money. I think recycling old clothes is a really neat way to transform your old wardrobe into something new for literally no money at all. So if that's not awesome, I don't know what is. One note is I think I did cut these holes a little too big, but you can totally do it to personal preference. Like if you want to show more of your stomach and have it like a vacation cover-up dress, you can totally do that. Or if you want to cut the strips really thin as well, you can just kind of have a tiny little peekaboo. Obviously, I went for like the full kind of hip peekaboo. Any lower and I feel like my hips would be popping out, but I still think it's really cute, and I am really excited to wear this on my upcoming travels. Also, shameless plug, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you should definitely, because I'm going traveling for about a month and a half, so you guys can keep up to date with all of that. Alright guys, so last but certainly not least, I'm actually very proud of this one. We are going to be taking an old maxi skirt and transforming it into a shirt that looks exactly like one from Urban Outfitters. Alright, so I am taking this maxi skirt, and to be honest with you, I really don't like the way it fits. The bottom for some reason is really flared, but not in like a nice flattering flowy way. It just doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really work in my opinion. So I'm really excited to transform this into a top that I'm actually gonna wear. And so for this, all you'll need is obviously a maxi maxi skirt, and then some scissors and some chalk. You will also need some beginner sewing skills. Honestly guys, I am not a seamstress. I've mentioned this, I am not very good at sewing, but all you need is a needle and some thread, and it's really easy. You just like loop it back and forth and it secures it to the fabric. Magical, I know, but it's really simple to do, and I'll be showing you guys sewing with Laura in 5 simple steps. I don't know how many steps there are, I just made that up. Okay, so first things first, we are taking our skirt, and what you want to do is you want to hold it against your body like we did with the last one, and then you want to take your chalk and mark exactly where your hips are, because that's where we're going to be cutting it off for the shirt. And don't worry if it looks kind of messy, we will be cutting this part off. Once you're done cutting, as you can see, some of the edges are a little bit messy, so we just want to go through that and clean it up just one side at a time. The next step is to actually cut out the sleeves of the shirt, and then once again we're going to be taking our chalk and just outline 2 long rectangles. So the final step is to actually attach the arm pieces to the armpits here, and so what you want to do is you want to lay out your skirt, now a shirt, and then you want to take your 2 pieces, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be folding them in half, and then all we're going to be doing is taking our needle and thread and stitching this piece to the side. Just stick your needle through and poke it all the way through to the inside of the shirt, and basically just keep repeating that process until you feel like it's secure. And you officially have your first sleeve, and you'll want to keep this open because we will tie it on the arm once it's actually on. So this is how the last shirt turned out, and guys, I just want to say I'm kind of blown away by how much this shirt actually looks like the store-bought version, and this was so simple to make. Yes, it required a tiny bit of sewing, but guys, knowing how to sew is a good life lesson, so it's not too bad. But I'm just really excited, and this is a shirt I would actually wear.
Turn me upside down, turn my heart inside.
Alright guys, so that is it for the video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching it and are enjoying some of my clothing hack videos. I also have a celebrity clothing hack series that I was doing. Well, I say was doing because I'm gonna be like away for a little bit of time, so I'm not gonna be able to do those specific videos because obviously I need like a lot of clothes with me, and I'm gonna be traveling for the next like month and a half or so. So if you guys want to head over to my Instagram, keep up to date with all of my travels. I'm going to some very exciting countries. We'll be taking a ton of photos on there. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.